I know. Oh yeah.
I know this one.
It's just a wedding podcast.
This episode is brought to you by Sound Precision Entertainment and Cufflink Media, Cleveland's best DJ, photo, and video team. When it comes to your big day, why juggle multiple vendors when you can have one amazing team? We're going to save you time, money, and stress because we're better together. From packed dance floors to photos and cinematic video, we've got you covered from I Do to The Last Dance. Book your wedding dream team today at spedj.com and cufflinkmedia.com. Find the links in the description below. What's going on, guys? We are back with another episode of the It's Just a Wedding podcast. How you guys doing?
It's just a wedding.
It's just a wedding.
Every time.
Every time.
Single time.
Forever and ever.
So how are you guys feeling today? This time, Julie, I'm going with you. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. Getting over this cough that I still have.
You're getting over the cough?
Usually how it goes is you get sick and you have a cough that you just can't get rid of.
That sounds terrible for a summer cold. Nick, how you feeling, brother?
It's always a good day.
Always a good day for Nick. And our people may notice, but we have another fantastic guest. I want to give her flowers. So from the heart of Ohio, Laser Focused Xpressions has been rewriting what it means to personalize an event. Founded as a woman-owned business, U.S.-based company, they quickly set themselves apart with their signature Hat Factory Xpress, a mobile hat customization bar that brings laser-engraved fashion to weddings, festivals, and even major sporting events. With over 1,000 hat combinations, proprietary LaserStitch technology, and a reputation for same-day customization, they've turned what used to be a simple wedding favor into an unforgettable wedding experience. You might have seen them at the PGA Championship Tour or local cultural festivals where they've proven themselves personalization isn't just a product, it's an interactive moment. Today, they're helping couples transform weddings into once-in-a-lifetime experiences with custom hats, gifts, and keepsakes that last far beyond the big day. Laser Focused Xpressions, welcome to It's Just a Wedding podcast.
Welcome on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We're excited to be here.
If that wasn't an entrance, I don't know what is. So how's everything going?
Yeah, that's a great blurb. We're doing good. So this weekend, we're actually heading into a 4-week booked. So we have every single weekend booked for the next 4 weeks.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a good problem to have.
Yeah, that's a very good problem to have. It sounds a lot like our company is we have every weekend book until around the new year, so we're pretty busy. But that's excellent.
Yeah.
So we're super excited. So I have to tell you that when you guys had reached out, obviously you were a new brand to us, but we very quickly became excited because of things like what we have sitting on this table right now. So
Particularly the It's Just a Wedding hat, huh?
yeah,
Shout out to them for making a little custom
I have
hat
to tell
for
you,
us.
that is super cool. It will be on my head, Nick,
It should stay on the table as a prop until we get more.
in just a couple of minutes. It'll be on my head. But so we're super excited. So whenever we start off, I don't know if you've seen the format of the show, but one thing that we always try to do is share, a wedding or event horror story that maybe we've experienced having been in the business, in our case, for, nearly 2 decades. So I know that you had mentioned prior to us going on air today that you did have one in the chamber. So if you've got something that you'd want to share, I always say no names, please. Why don't you go ahead and fill us in on what your horror story may be?
Well, with what we do, we say we can put anything you want on our product today. And so that always begs the question, anything? So you can imagine there's been a few inappropriate requests that we probably can't share.
I would absolutely give you an inappropriate.
They're always appropriate.
But what happens at the events, we have an order taker. And then we have Freddie and I that are actually making the product. So sometimes I'm not having the conversations with the customers. I'm just receiving the order.
Okay.
And so sometimes I'll receive a picture, and it'll be an interesting one.
Okay.
So one time I received a picture, and it was a person wearing their swimsuit, doing the starfish.
Okay.
And they said they wanted that exact image on the hat. And what the funny part about this is a very well-known person. And so we said, okay, we'll do it. And what we're able to do on the spot is actually cut the patches to shape. So I actually cut his body to shape. So the full body starfish, like half naked photo, went on a hat. He put it on his head and walked in, and so a lot of famous people saw this hat. Unfortunately for that person.
Well, that actually sounds really funny. I don't think, to me, that's not much of a nightmare. That's actually like a rock star moment.
I've always wanted a half-naked hat of myself. Okay.
Send us the picture and we'll put it on a hat.
Well, listen, nobody else wants to see it though, so I will avoid sending you the half-naked picture of me. But no, I could totally see how, for the wrong person, that may be the biggest nightmare, seeing themselves basically exposed in front of other celebrities and local people. And then for a narcissist like Nick, he would probably be just.
I'd be like,
yeah.
That's something that would be fun at a wedding or something. Have a hilarious picture of the groom, and then everyone just get weird.
Yeah, exactly. And so what can happen at weddings is people take pictures at the wedding, send it to us, and we can put it on our products there that same day.
That's cool.
That's really cool. It is cool. So before we get too far, I guess, into specific products, like I always say, like, we need to start with the basics, like the who, the what, the when, the where, and the why. So obviously we've talked a little bit about who you guys are, and you've mentioned very briefly as to what it is that you guys can do. So obviously we have hats here, but I know that earlier you showed us t-shirts, and I know that you have engravers and mugs. So why don't you kind of tell some of the listeners all of the things that you are capable of as a company, and then maybe what is specifically what you guys have in mind for wedding favors and other events.
Right. So just backing up a little bit, I started the business back in 2019 as a personalization product. So right before COVID hit, was kind of focused on things that people could use at home, but the equipment was very large and not something that could be taken to festivals. And then about last year, I saw a change in technology where things machines can do the same thing, but are smaller, a little bit more transportable. So I wanted to kind of change the industry where we're personalizing on the spot rather than having to make the product at home and ship it. So our very first ever event was actually on our front lawn, and the solar eclipse came through our town,
nice.
and we set up on our front lawn, and I saw this trend of the hats, and so we set out a couple hats, and we sold hats on our front lawn.
Oh, wow.
And so that just kind of opened our eyes to say, well, okay, we've kind of got something here. Now we're seeing the technology change where we have portable equipment, and we see a niche where people almost everybody either wears a hat, knows somebody that wears a hat, whether it's fashion or branding or something else. So we really kind of hit on this hat trend. So all of our equipment that we purchase is in mind to be portable and mobile with us. So when we go to an event, we're bringing our entire store with us. So that's our hat collection. And all of the patches that we bring, and different types of equipment. So we have laser engravers, we have UV printers, and so then we started with building out these hats, and now we realize that there's other products that people are always asking for. Everybody always wears a shirt. Obviously, we're wearing shirts. But everybody wants a custom shirt, and so then we added the capability to add on shirts, and now we're looking to expand even beyond that. We're looking at customizing socks on the spot.
Wow.
So all of our equipment is focused on the spot branding, and then that can be done on virtually now any product.
So I'm sorry, Julie, please.
So it's not just like the hats that you have that's like portable and easy to move for like equipment. It's like the t-shirts, all the other things that you customize too, or like the machines are smaller and easy to like bring around.
Yeah, exactly. And by easy to bring around, we're still talking about 200-pound pieces of equipment.
Oh, wow.
So there's still some thought that has to
Yeah.
go into transporting these, but with our technologies combined, we've been able to transform the industry. You'll never see a more advanced hat bar than what we have.
Wow.
And speaking of, just what you're transporting, like, I got to ask you, so I would imagine if you would have just told somebody about this idea before you did it, there would be many companies be like, that sounds crazy. So what gave you guys the idea? And then maybe even more importantly, like, when did you say, like, you know what, this might be a little crazy, but like crazy in a good way?
Yeah, I mean, we've been living that ride for the last year. But so by trade, I'm actually an engineer, and my partner is an attorney. But we're both like critical thinkers, and we want to push the envelope. We met somebody last year at a festival, and he's in the golf ball personalization business, but he prints his balls at his shop and then ships them out traditionally. And we said we want to look at being able to personalize golf balls on the spot, and he told us that's impossible. And so that's the switch.
And you're like, I'm an engineer.
Dang,
Nothing is
okay. I
impossible.
didn't even know you could personalize the golf balls other
Yeah.
than to, like
You can
putting just
personalize
a name
anything,
on
I'm
it.
sure.
Yeah. So we can print directly to the golf balls. We can even go to golf outings where you might have certain events in the golf outing, like longest drive and closest to the pin.
Yes.
Those winners we can print on the products at the golf outing, and then that winner can go home with a personalized.
That's impressive.
Cool.
That's super cool. Something that really is all, no pun intended, but like thinking outside the box for sure. So, I think one of the things that I think we all got a chuckle out of when we were doing our research for, meeting with you guys and of course this podcast is this idea that you guys have what you guys call like a hat bar or like a mobile bar. And I think even when I talked to Freddie on the phone, he mentioned you guys have like an open bar and like a cash bar. So,
Yeah.
why don't you define so if a client was watching this and they were potentially interested in having you guys at their event or at their wedding, what their options might be as far as like explaining what an open bar is, what a cash bar is, and some of that fun stuff.
Yeah, so it ultimately is going to depend on what level of customization the client wants. So we can come with a certain selection of patches with certain designs, and then they pick the different types of designs, and then they pick from a certain collection of hats. Maybe we only bring 4 different types of hats. So that would kind of be like the basic level where they're still getting the customization, but they pick from certain patches.
Okay.
Then kind of the next level up would be engraving, some level of customization, but very, very simple. So they can still pick from any of the patch colors that we would have, and then they would get to pick the font, and then they can put any text at all on the hat, and we still can make that, in that short time frame. And then kind of the next level up is being able to add color and the custom cuts. So just kind of the examples that we have out, those 2 on the right that say somebody and somebody's problem, those are a great pair piece, but that's an example of kind of like the basic level where it would be maybe patches that we already have or just like basic text. And then this example here, what you're seeing is somebody's actual car. So they sent us a picture of their car. They customized the font that they picked for the year, and they picked the color for it. So this is kind of like the next level
cool.
up.
Okay.
And then on the far side down there, we have actually kind of 2 different levels of customization here. So first of all, that you can see that this is cut to shape like a football, which we can do on the spot. And then we can also add texture. And unfortunately, we might not be able to see that through the video, but you can feel the football texture, and you can actually feel the laces. So this would be kind of like the next level up of hat options that we have. And so the customer would need to select, like, do you want to have, a very quick turnover of the hats, but only selecting from certain patches? Do you want to allow them to customize it a little bit? Or do you want full customization? They can get absolutely anything. We can custom cut.
Wow.
And these ones almost have like a carbon fiber sheen and feel to them, really.
Yeah, those are carbon
And
fiber.
I want to make sure that we're giving, proper verbal
Yes.
descriptions. So, our logo here, so this hat is super cool. Like what they may not see is this entire patch is actually raised maybe 1/8 of an inch off the cap. And then you can't see it, I'm sure, on camera, but there's actually a raised text here, which gives it very much like kind of like a higher end kind of a feel to it. And then, so how does this patch actually get adhered to the product or the cap?
We are using industrial adhesive that is activated with heat and pressure.
Okay.
So we can utilizing this method, we can make the custom hats a lot faster. Kind of the traditional method is stitching the hats directly to the hat, and we just bought equipment to be able to do that, and it's also portable too. So if somebody wanted it like actually stitched for that traditional look, we can do that.
And you
as
could
well.
actually do that. You
On
could
the
do that-
spot, too.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So I know a question that I would have, and I'm sure some of our guests might have, is so obviously in industrial adhesive, it certainly feels like it's on there pretty good, but like how has the quality of your products been? Like, have you noticed after like multiple wears or sweating, like, does that sucker stay put? Or, walk me through kind of what you've seen as far as the wear and tear of your product.
Yeah, they stay put. We have had 0 complaints so far. We're using a U.S. made adhesive, and so it's difficult to source everything from the U.S., but the adhesive is made in the U.S. It's really great stuff.
America.
And it is activated at 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So as long as you keep it
wow.
out of 300 degrees, should be all set.
It'll probably stay out of that 300 degrees.
Yeah, and then as far as sweat goes, we do also offer a product that prevents the sweat stains, but the sweat will not take the patch off the hat.
Interesting. So not only are you guys providing something cool and unique, but it actually is quality. And, along the same lines, when you, myself, and your partner were on the phone prior to us coming on, I believe Freddie had mentioned on multiple occasions that you have certain partnerships with certain products. And one thing that I want to be crystal clear about, like, you can feel the quality in these caps. So this is not something that you would see, like, on the clearance, aisle at a
These are
dollar
like
store. I mean, this feels like
hat stores.
yeah, this is
like,
a quality
sports
cap. So
stores,
God, I
things
think
like
that you should wear the somebody's hat, and I'll be the somebody's problem.
Yeah, so we pride ourselves in quality. So we only offer premium hats, and I think that really stands out to customers, especially hat people. We actually we are Richardson dealers now, but at our store we have every single color in the Richardson.
Now, are they
112.
only truckers, or do you have baseball caps? Do you have
Yeah.
flat hats?
We have almost every kind of hat you can think of. Anytime.
Bucket hats, beanies?
Bucket hats, beanies.
man, you're getting me all fired
And then I
up
see
here.
that you even have like a hat that you're wearing now for like us ladies. Or
Yeah,
anyone
ladies,
that has ponytails.
ladies
show that
hat.
off.
This one has a slot for the ponytail. So that somebody is actually the same. So if you turn it, the somebody, yeah, that guy. So if you open it up, it's called a concealed ponytail.
Oh, wow.
So if you're wearing your hair down, you don't see the whole, or if you're wearing your hair up, you can put it through the slot if you like the high ponytail. And
like
so
that.
these are not Richardsons. They are Evolves, but high quality. They have a makeup-resistant sweatband, which is super
Oh,
nice for
yeah,
the ladies. And
definitely.
then,
Right here?
and then this brand also makes the unstructured style, which we call the dad hats. So the structured is where this
Yeah,
front part is hard, where the
It's got like
unstructured
a-
is no mesh.
It's got like a waxy kind of feel where it's like,
yes.
So you don't have
wow.
Yeah,
so you don't have to worry about it like staining the hat or anything like that. I've
Right.
had that issues multiple times.
yeah, exactly.
Jolly good show.
Yeah.
So you're doing an incredible job at kind of walking us through who you guys are, what it is that you do. My question for you is, I know that you've done festivals. You just mentioned that you sold hats on your lawn, which I love as an entrepreneur, that you guys literally like solar eclipse, let's sell some caps. And I know that like our audience, and one of the things that you guys are excited about is bringing this to the wedding space specifically.
Yes.
So talk to me about like when you and Freddie are kind of dreaming this up, and maybe you've done weddings, maybe you're yet to do weddings, maybe you want to do 100, walk me through kind of like how you envision this and like how you can help a bride really give their friends and family a unique experience that is completely different than
Yeah.
anything else they've seen at their friends and family's weddings.
Yeah, so I think the key thing is we're offering an experience. So when somebody comes to our space, they get to pick out everything that they want. So not only do they get to walk away with a favor that they actually want and
Yeah.
they will maybe hopefully use, they get to experience picking out all of the options.
Well, I have to
from
tell
our
you,
shop.
this is a lot cooler than like candy coated almonds or whatever the hell we normally get at
Yeah.
weddings. So I think your friends and family would definitely dig this. Now,
Yeah.
certainly I'm not going to ask you to put any quotes together or customizations, but give our listeners an idea of like what like a general or average, per cap cost would be, so that
Yeah.
when they're going, okay, we're having 225 people at our wedding, like what kind of investment might they be looking at? Understanding, and to be clear, these are all going to be
Yeah.
customized and lots of options, but just to give a generality.
So again, it will depend on ultimately what package they select and
Sure.
how many people. But a hat like this, we usually sell for $40.
Okay.
And then a hat like this one, we would sell for $35. And so then, depending on what package they select, we could be anywhere between $20 per hat to $50 per hat.
And is
depending on-
there an MOQ, like a minimum order that a bride has to do? They have to have like a minimum of 100 hats, or
We would discuss, how many people they think would be coming, and that would be worked into what kind of package they ultimately want. So we were talking about open bar versus cash bar. So that concept is like open bar, the bride and groom would be paying for a certain number of hats that their guests would get, and then a cash bar, the guests would be paying for their own individual hat. So ultimately, the MOQ will just depend on
Gotcha.
what level of service they want us to bring.
And that makes sense. And from a wedding perspective, because like, I want to make sure that all of our listeners are getting like a full idea of this. So like, a cash bar, I would imagine that the last thing that you guys want to do is lug out all this equipment and set up all of these things. And then necessarily, what if 4 people bought, 4 $30 hats at a wedding? So from your guys' perspective, like how do you attempt to mitigate something like that? And like, what would your expectation be for how that would look? Because I can see a bride going like, wait a minute, it's not going to cost me anything to have these guys come and set up at our wedding and then not know if anybody are going to buy hats, and then you guys end up going there and doing all the rigmarole, and then,
Right. Well, I mean, that's the risk that we always take when we do festivals. We pay to be at festivals, and we never know if anybody is going to buy things. We've had days where it's a rain out, and we sell 3 hats at festivals. But so that's why we're looking into getting into the private party space where we have a certain allotted amount of time that we're at the event, and maybe have like a certain number. Like we know we're going to build like this many units.
that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense because, I feel like for this to go well, so like I'm a wedding DJ, and I feel like the messaging of this at an event or wedding is as important as anything. So somebody who's making a clear announcement like, hey, you guys may see this in the back of the room. This is what it is. Here's how it works. Here's why it works. And by like working with the other vendors at the wedding, you're kind of pumping that. And I feel like that's going to help, move hats or products for you guys as well.
Right.
So before we get into a fun game, because we always do like a midway game that Nick's excited about, but I have one other question. So I can tell you that brides, especially in our space, they spend months and months and sometimes years planning their wedding, what it's going to look like, every detail, the color of the napkin, every little thing. And then, you think of a store or like a pop-up shop, and like, can you walk me through like what that would look like and how you can kind of bring that to somebody's wedding and have it be a cool experience without it being an obtrusive eyesore to the rest of the decor of the wedding?
Right. Well, so we customized our own bars. Freddie is very handy, and so he built our actual bars that we bring with us to events. But the way that we did it is that the front panels are interchangeable, so we could theoretically change the look of the bar to fit the decor of the bride's theme.
nice.
So you're customizing within the customization of the custom hats.
Right.
So, I mean, let me tell you something, but that is music to
Custom
a bride's
cubed.
ears. I mean, literally, at the end of the day, brides care. We have DJ facades that look better in a more barn-based setting. We've got DJ facades that look better in a downtown ballroom. We've got, so having options and the ability to customize that, I think that would be a really big, exciting thing for our clients. So I think what I'm going to do now is kick it over to Nick for a minute. So Nick, why don't you walk us through what you got planned for the game?
First of all, I'm glad that Julie is back. You good?
Yeah, sorry. It's
We
just
needed you for the drip or drown.
holding in a cough so long, eventually it just like burst out really bad.
I was looking at you. I was like, is she passing away on set? I was like, come on, Julia.
Well,
Got a cough drop in.
we're happy you're back because we need you for the next segment. Before we get into that, we're doing a drip or drown. Basically, we will go over different fashion items or trends, and we either give them a drip or a drown. Is it going to be drip, or is it not going to work out well? But before we do that, you brought some T-shirts. Do you want to show us some of those? You do that. What is it? ATG? Is that what it's called?
DTG. So we're
DTG.
printing directly to the T-shirts. So here's one example of a full color print.
Wow.
Example of where somebody, again, sends us their picture or their image, and they pick out the shirt that they want, and we print it directly to the shirt. We can print on the front of the shirt, the back of the shirt, the sleeve, inside the shirt if you wanted, literally.
So it's different than just a screen print. It's seeping into the fibers of the shirt.
Yes, we're printing directly to the T-shirt itself.
Drip.
And I know that we keep, beating a dead horse, but what's important to understand here, guys, is, oh my God, I love that.
Drip.
But it's important to understand, like, this is happening in real time,
Yeah.
right in front of you at somebody's wedding. This is not like place an order, come pick it up in 2 weeks, not come pick it up in 3 hours. Like, from the time somebody gives you the item at a wedding to the time that item is in their hand, like, what would an average amount of time be?
So it'll depend on what we're doing, but it could be, between 15 minutes or 2 hours, depending.
I mean, but that's the impressive part. Like, before you leave the wedding, before your friends and family leave the wedding, you're taking this home.
Right.
And that's the differentiator. That's kind of what is, in my opinion, disrupting the space, and why, frankly, that when you guys contact us, we got to have these people on, because they're doing something that's just really unique. We've seen it all. We've seen the live painters. We've seen the ice sculpturists. We've seen people doing dress designs and everything else in between. But this is something that in my 16 years, I haven't seen being done, specifically in Cleveland. So super cool. So, Nikki, go ahead.
All right, drip or drown. Let's start off with a nice, easy one that I already know the answer to. If your bridesmaids have matching hats for a bachelorette party, whatever, is that drip or is that drown?
That's drip if
Drip.
they're buying the hats from us.
Whoa.
I think it's drip, but they've got to be something sassy. It's got to be fun. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to just see something like
Of course, has to be fun.
Maddie's bachelorette weekend. Like, it's got to
Yeah,
be cool.
It's got to be something spicy for
Yeah.
sure.
Each
sure.
one should be different based on someone's personality in the bridal party. That'd be a fun one.
A starfish logo of the bride on all of them.
Oh gosh.
Cowboy boots under a dress. They say they're doing a barn wedding. She wants to go with the cowgirl boots.
For me, it's drown, man. I'm over barns. I'm over cowboy weddings. So for me personally,
I think if it's a cowboy wedding and it's like a barn and it's the whole theme, I feel like it could be drip.
Yeah. I think if it's on theme, drip.
I think it's drip if you're actually a cowboy or cowgirl. If you're like me or Scott trying to throw some boots on and having a wedding, it's not going to work for me.
I can get down with that.
But I think it'd be cool if you actually admits your style. So, all right, next, custom leather jackets for the bride. So embroidered or engraved with names, dates, or even one of your little patches.
leather.
Leather.
That's an expensive custom, but for me,
Yeah.
drip.
I think leather, drip.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie.
I think drip.
What do you think?
I'll let it go.
Okay. I will also say drip. I'm a fan of a leather jacket. Now, how about bucket hats at the reception, either as a favor or a photo prop or...
I don't think bucket hats should be allowed anywhere but a fishing boat. So for me, that is drown, drown, drown.
I agree.
Bucket hats are very popular. So,
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people just like the style,
As
but
a hat
it's,
salesman, I understand the drip, but
She's going to say drip to all the hat questions.
I think that if it's like a prop and stuff or like a party favor to like take home, I honestly could go with it. I would say like drip.
Okay.
Be fun for like the photo booth and whatnot.
Little half and half there. How about personalized sunglasses? Can you guys do those, first of all, and drip or drown?
we could do it. I'm not into it, so
No? Drown?
she's like drowning.
boring. That's so 2000.
So I will also say drown, despite the fact that my brother-in-law had me customized glasses made for his wedding. So Dylan, yours were fine. The rest are terrible.
Wow.
I say drip because I think that's kind of cool to have like the names on the sides or something like that.
I think if you have like the couple's name,
Yeah.
that might be cool. But then the guest who's going to receive it, like they're not going to wear it after the
Right.
thing.
That's
I'm
fair.
going to say drown just for the effectiveness of it. You know
I
what I
actually
mean?
use the ones that I got when I'm weed whacking my yard as eye
See,
protection.
that's even worse.
That's when I use them, to be honest.
That is even worse. What about denim jackets, customized, monogrammed for bridesmaids, particularly? Drip or
Drip.
drown?
Like at a wedding or just like in general?
Well, both. I
Drip.
mean, you go to a bridal
You're wearing
show.
a denim jacket right now, so of course.
I think
you're-
they're nice. I think it's drip. I think it would look nice in a white dress, you know?
Either at a
Denim
bridal
jacket, white
show,
dress.
a bachelorette party. Maybe they all do some like cheetah girl stuff and they wear them like in the middle of the wedding. They just walk out with them on.
I am going to. I guess I'll go with Julia because she's a girl, so I'll say drip. I don't think as a dude I can't see myself
For
rocking
girls,
a
you can
denim
say-
jacket at a wedding, but you know.
It's a good stylish
think-
jacket to have. As
Yeah, I think others can rock it. For them, drip, but for me, drown.
Well, I wore a denim jacket like 3 episodes ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and say drip on that one. Let's see here. This one, guests wearing white or all white.
Oh, dude, come on.
No.
What are we even talking about here?
No.
If you are particularly a female and you wear white to a wedding, you may be escorted out immediately.
We've seen a few people do that.
We've had brides who refuse to go down the aisle because, and I quote, some nasty bitch is wearing white.
Oh my gosh.
At my wedding.
Drown.
Yeah.
Drown. It's a no-go. It's a no-go.
It's an untold rule.
So I got 2 more things here. What about a themed dress code? Where like, okay, we're having a Roaring 20s wedding or an all-black wedding. How do you guys feel about that? Is that drip or is that drown?
How much do we have to spend on this new outfit? Like that's the thing.
Well, it depends on how exquisite you want to
I
look.
mean, if it's a themed wedding and everyone goes out, drip. But if it's a themed wedding and you get some people or a good amount that doesn't get with the theme, doesn't dress that way, it's definitely drown because you'll see like some with the theme and then some just no.
My answer is going to be very brutal. So the idea of a themed wedding is complete trash. It's garbage.
God.
If you have a themed wedding, dumpster fire.
I'm going to have a theme wedding. one day.
However, dumpster fire. That being said, it appalls me that more people keep going to weddings underdressed, wearing things like polo shirts or jeans or
Yes.
not. You were at somebody's wedding. By all means, please pull your shit together, iron your clothing, and dress like an adult for 6 hours.
Yeah, I agree.
So, drowned on everything, but pull your shit together.
So you're not going to go to my Great Gatsby themed wedding in 5 years.
Great Gatsby theme is just wear like a black suit.
Roaring 20s, dog.
How do you know it's gonna be 5 years?
That was just a guess.
Yeah.
I was about to
He
say
doesn't
you're
have a
not
girlfriend
even
right now.
dating anyone.
It's gonna be a lot longer than that. We'll see.
All right, well that'll wrap up the drip or drown. Thanks for playing.
Awesome.
So listen, first and foremost, we know that shortly here we're going to be having your partner Freddie on. But Trez, I want to say thank you. You've been extremely informative. You've done an incredible job explaining your products, what you do, and maybe most importantly, why you do it. So thank you very much for coming on. We're excited to talk to your partner. So yeah, we'll be right back. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Scott from It's Just a Wedding Podcast, and we are so excited at the trajectory of what this podcast has been doing. So I'll tell you what we're looking for. We are looking for sponsors. If you have a product or a service that you think would be highlighted really well right here on our show, we want to hear from you. Hit us up at Gmail at itsjustaweddingpodcast@gmail.com or find us on all the socials out there. Well, we are back for the second half of today's episode, and I have to say that this time we have the second half of the partnership. We'd like to welcome Freddie to the show. So, Freddie, welcome.
Hi, nice to be here.
Sir?
Hey.
And before we even get too deep, I promised Therese, you walked out of the room, she mentioned that this is a wedding show, and she told me maybe to put a little pressure on you. You guys have been together for 2 years. Any wedding bells? Not my idea, Freddie, not my idea. Just letting you know.
Well, a little snippet for the No Tux Given. Maybe we could we'll work it out in the No Tux Given segment. We got a good segment.
I wanted to suggest to you, you were talking about wedding themes and drip. How about a divorce-themed wedding?
Oh.
Well, it's
How's
funny
that?
that you mentioned that because one of our editors, Shane, talks all the time about we should be partnering with divorce attorneys, and he thinks marriage should be a 7-year contract that's renewable and all kinds of funny
That's
things.
funny.
So.
Renewable.
That's funny. So before we get into the No Tux Given, there are a few new hats on the panel here we want to talk about. This one has a athletic version with holes, I would assume, for like a running or a golfing.
That's a Richardson hat. It's a high-end Richardson hat, so it's sort of popular. I hate working with it because it's kind of difficult to work with.
It's
But
also got the nice band. I'm a big fan of the bands.
Yep, it
Got
comes
a
with
few
the
more
band.
truckers, and then we even have.
this is by the way, very requested. We call this the Ellsworth theme because of the way the letters are
I do
all
like the
cut out
letters.
like that. People
nice.
people love that.
It looks
It
good.
almost looks like there's like a drop shadow, but
Well, it's actually has depth, so it's a natural drop.
Yeah,
That's
it
pretty
does,
cool,
It does
yeah.
look good. And then we have a
Looks fancy.
visor, perfect for the golf course, perfect for anything really. anything athletic.
One of the things that I wanted to show, so first of all, the hat is just dope. So it's the Sasquatch, and if
Very
cameras
popular.
not gonna be able to see it probably, but it is great. But I'm going to do a description here, but we'll talk a bit more about this here shortly. So we mentioned in the opening with Therese that they have trademarked this LaserStitch. And again, you're not going to be able to do a great job in seeing it, but what they're actually doing is through printing, they're actually making the print look as if it was an actual stitch. And in a few minutes, we're going to let Freddie, who actually does this, actually explain it a bit further. But when you're talking about being able to get yourself a embroidered or custom look in 15, 20 minutes, an hour, and not wait days or weeks, this is a heck of a alternative way to do it, which I think is really cool. So
Certainly.
So Nick, it is time for.
I always do a little whoosh. You'll see it in the editing. A little bit of a whoosh for the No Tucks Given segment. Now, this is a segment that we came up with. We wanted to figure out a way to get grooms more engaged with the wedding process because historically, it's the bride making all the decisions. She's the one calling the shots. The guy's kind of just along for the ride. But we thought if we could get the groom involved and he likes us, the bride's going to like us, and it's all going to be one big happy family. So we dedicated a segment every episode to the groom. Now, on this episode, we're going to be talking about the ring. We're calling it the ring talk, and there's a bunch of different talking points that we want to hit, but the ring is the symbol. It's the symbol of marriage. You know, there is no bound. It's a circle for a reason, and as the groom, you can't drop the ball here. This is a very important of it. So we're going to talk about rings for a little bit. So first of all, I want to ask your guys' opinion on rings. You're a married man. You've done this before.
Yes, sir.
You are potentially maybe one day getting married. So let me ask you guys this. When choosing a ring, do you take her to get its size, have her pick out the one she wants, or do you be the guy to go out and surprise her with the ring? Is it cheesy or?
So as an old school Italian soul,
Oh, so am I.
there you go. See, I knew I liked Freddie. As an old school, I could not see bringing my wife with me to pick out the ring. That being said, I think that you're marrying this woman, so you should have an idea of her style.
I agree with you. I was just going to say that. If you don't know that, you shouldn't get married. If you don't know if she wants that or not, you shouldn't get married.
Where I
valid.
think mistakes are made. So I can give you an example of my situation. So I got engaged at the time I was probably 26 or 27 years old. You know, was at a whole different place in my life financially. So at that time, I was able to spend X amount of dollars. So I think what's important for the grooms to understand is, like, you're going to want to have an idea of a budget heading into this thing.
Yes.
And then, you know, Nick, you were actually there. So were you, Julia. We actually had a surprise birthday party for my wife for her 40th back in April, where I got her a brand new ring, which was like putting a car on her ring finger. And it made her very happy. It made me very sad and poor. But so I guess the long-winded talk for saying, you should know your girl. You should know her taste. But, like, I think you got to go by yourself. As a man,
I think
you
so.
have to experience that.
I think so. You got to get it for her. That's traditional, but you got to know her style, match her style, whether she wants something classic, modern, or.
Can I put a woman's perspective on it?
Sure, please. We encourage you.
White men will tell women what to think.
So I think with me, I would probably be the same way. I wouldn't want to be there for the choosing of the ring. I would want it to be a surprise and a pick. Like, I would want them to pick out the ring too. So I don't think coming along. So I think you guys nailed that on the
Perfect.
spot.
Now there's.
Huh?
But in your case, Chris would have a very good idea for your taste, so I would imagine.
Well, yeah, because, like, I don't like the big, like, poppy ones. I'm more, like, small and dainty and, like, cute.
She's like, yeah, just give me a ring pop. I'll be okay.
I think most
not a ring
women
pop.
probably give the hint first about
Yeah.
what they want. It's like, oh, look, that's
Like,
beautiful.
he already
You
knows.
should-
I've mentioned
you
it.
should notate it in your head for future reference.
Yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
be sneaky about it.
Those things will come in.
Yeah, you can be sneaky about it. Go to a K Jewelers. Hey, babe, I'm looking for a new watch, and just take an eye on what she looks at, and that'll give you a little bit of.
Oh, I see the eyes
I
over
do
here.
have a question, though. How do you find your soon-to-be wife and fiance their ring size if
that's a
they don't
problem.
know?
See,
In the
that
middle
was
of
one
the
my
night,
talking
you take a
points.
little piece of string and you wrap it around her finger. Maybe give her some, like, knockout drug first. Well, I mean, it's all for
Cosby.
So that's actually a good talking point, because that was one of the things I wanted to talk about is if you are going to surprise your wife with the ring, you got to know the size. Now, there's a few things that I have found through my research. One is you could borrow one of her pre-existing rings because girls have rings and they wear them all the time. You could borrow one and use that to match the size.
Sure.
Also, you can ask friends because girls talk. They might know the ring size. Maybe they're similar in body structure, and you could kind of maybe use hers as a guider. And then there's also an app called Sizer, which I don't even know how it works. I should have researched a little bit more. But there's apps out there that can allow guys to get a size on the girl's ring.
What if it's a girl like me? I don't really own rings that fit on the ring finger. And I don't know my ring size. What do you do then?
Do you wear rings? Have you ever wore a ring in your life?
Not on the ring finger.
I can tell
Each
you.
finger's a different size, though.
So when you go to a jeweler, a professional, they're going to tell you that the average woman is between a 6.5 and a 7.5 ring size. And, you know, in a perfect world, the ring that you buy is going to be that exact perfect fit. But jewelers are very familiar with having to resize, both making rings
Yes.
larger and smaller. So I think it's more about like being in the ballpark.
Get in the
is more
ballpark.
important
Okay.
than it is being like on the
Yes.
money.
It's
you know?
really common that they get returned for a little while, so they get resized.
Exactly.
Yeah, get in the ballpark. You could always size up or size down. That's what a jeweler does.
And Nick, one of the things that we discussed prior to this, and I know you're going right into it, but so this happened to my wife. So it doesn't matter if you're spending $5,000 in a ring or $40,000 in a ring. Fellas, when you purchase that ring at that point in your life, it's quite expensive. So what you're really going to have to do is make sure that you're getting insurance for that thing. Because let me tell you something. My wife was washing the dishes. We've been married for, at this point, 11 years. And she comes to me crying, and there's a little hole in her ring, and the original diamond gone, probably down the sink. So, you know, Nick, why don't you jump into the importance of what that looks like?
So, I mean, it's very important to work about the financials of this ring. Now, everybody knows what they make personally as a man. Do you want to get your wife a nice ring? Absolutely. But don't overdo it. Don't put yourself out of house and home to get this big extravagant ring. Have that conversation with your wife, and if you want to do better, like how Scott did. He got something in his budget when he first started. He started making some more money. 10, 15 years later, he bought her the ring of her dreams. Get her a ring. Have that conversation with her. Stay within your budget. Don't overdo it, but also don't underdo it. If you can span $5 and you want to get something for $1,000, that might not work. Find something that's comfortable in your budget. Now let's talk insurance. Walk us through, Scott, the insurance process on a ring.
So there's a number of ways that it can be done. So most jewelers, particularly the big box store jewelers, is going to allow you to purchase some sort of insurance plan through them. Now, it's important, and we're going to talk to, in a few minutes, Freddie, who happens to also be an attorney. You need to read the fine print because, for example, at some of the big box stores, you may have to get your ring checked and serviced every 6 months for that insurance to not go void and stay active. And it's very easy. People get busy in life. Things like COVID happen, etc. And all of a sudden you think you have something insured and it's not. So one way is through the jeweler, but I believe probably the most practical way is many women will insure it through their homeowner's insurance.
Yeah, you could bundle it, right?
Yeah, you can bundle it in your homeowner's insurance or even renter's insurance, I believe. So a lot of times that would be a strong recommendation. And frankly, I would imagine really probably from $5,000 up, it would make a lot of sense to do it.
And I can't imagine that it'd be a really high dollar amount. It's like we're talking, what, maybe 10 or 15 bucks a month or something
So
like
I
that?
don't know the exact figure, but it's nothing that, to me, the small amount of money is not going to outweigh the peace of mind of knowing that you've got some protection there on the back end. So it's really important. So, like, I guess the message here is for the guys. It's like, fellas, weddings are stressful. They're very expensive. Your lady's going to be excited. There's going to be a lot of expenses. So this is one time where it's like, do the right thing, get her the ring, but make sure you're protecting you and her because those things are going to be really important.
I would add a couple of things to that, having dealt with insurance companies. A, get your ring appraised by a third party.
Okay.
B, take pictures in detail. C, have it in writing that it's listed as a specific item insured in your homeowner's insurance. Don't just assume it's in the blanket coverage.
Fine print from the
This is
lawyer.
why you need the attorney for stuff just like that. I would be the guy getting fucked on that for sure.
And the other thing about the financial aspect is you're spending all this money on a wedding. a party that's going to cost you thousands of dollars, food, etc. The ring is one thing that you carry on past that wedding. You're putting precious metals, gemstones, etc. on a finger. It's a tangible asset, truly. So if you spend $10,000 on this ring, it's going to either likely appreciate, and that is money that you can tap into at one point. Let's say you get into a pickle or something, but it's always something that you'll have as an asset.
Yeah.
So don't look at it as something that you're just throwing away. You will have that.
So as always, that one was for you, the dudes, the guys, the fellas. Another episode of.
You cut it short.
You got more?
I had one very important part.
Whoa!
Very important.
Okay, one more. What do you got for me?
We're talking about the groom, so we need to know, does the groom have to get something matching, or can he just do a wedding band? Like how should the groom go about getting his wedding ring? Or is that on the girl? Like, walk us through that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
That's a very important topic.
Do you want the Italian perspective of this?
I want the married man at the table to tell us.
This is going to be the married man Italian perspective. So my father, you know, he likes to wear a little pinky ring. He likes jewelry. So my ring, gold band, but I also got 4 stones across it because I figured, hey, if she gets to have a little drip on her finger, I'd like a little drip on mine. That may not be the popular opinion. Some guys go with the straight tungsten. Some guys go with, even now they've got, like, for guys who are working or working out, they've got like the rubber bands and
Silicone ones.
acrylic bands and all that kind of stuff. So ultimately, I think it just depends on your style. But that being said, I probably spent more than I should have on a ring. And I've been married for 13 years, and I've probably worn that sucker 6 times. And it sits on a jewelry box in my bedroom. So take that
You
as
should probably get some sort of inexpensive spare so that you could wear it and not have to worry about losing it.
Agreed. Agreed.
There you go. Well, that is the No Tucks Given. Shout out to all the dudes, homies, and fellas at home. Every episode, we're coming at you live with a dedicated segment just for you. Now let's get back to the show.
Yeah, so getting back to Freddie here, and most importantly, Laser Focused Xpression. Excuse me, that's a mouthful you guys chose for your name there. I'm gonna go LFX is gonna be.
Well,
okay.
it's Xpressions. We took the E off,
You
so
took the E
we
off.
did shorten it.
I do
Shorten it
like
by a
that.
letter. Love it.
So one of the things that is super cool. So having spoke with Trez a bit, you know, she had mentioned that, you know, I believe that she initially started the business, and then I'm not sure over what period of time then you came in as a partner. And generally speaking, we always laugh, and Shane and myself talk about that, like, partners are for dancing, not for business, is kind of like our, but I will tell you that there is times in life where you need to know your strengths and your weaknesses, and if you can find a partner who brings something to the table that maybe you don't, then it can be a great partnership. And I mean, I think a huge thing in business that I think you're bringing to the table specifically is the fact that you've got the attorney law background, very impressive, and the fact that you guys hold, it sounds like, multiple trademarks, but you're able to write your own. I mean, that's a humongous, humongous advantage in business. So, you know, why don't you talk a little bit about, you know, I guess what that process looks like without getting too legalese, but then specifically, we're super excited about this LaserStitch trademark that you guys have. I showed a little sample earlier, but why don't you walk us through? I know that sounds like you guys have even made improvements on the initial, and now what you guys got going on with that.
Well, so you want the LaserStitch first?
Yeah, we'll do the LaserStitch first.
And you wanted me to talk about trademarks, or?
Just a little bit, because we have a lot of other business owners who watch the show too, who are constantly filing trademarks and DBAs, and people who just aren't very familiar with that stuff. So I think it could be interesting for them to maybe grab a little snippet as to what that process might look like.
Okay, well, with regard to the LaserStitch, so it started because we do occasionally get asked if we can provide embroidery. And being that we're on the spot, it's not something that's practical. Embroidery, we can fit the machine, but those machines are very slow.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't lend itself for an on-the-spot transition. So I guess the thought was, let's provide a product that resembles embroidery as much as we can without actually having to embroider the hat.
Okay.
And so at first it started with just a photographic resemblance, but it's transitioned, and we're actually working on a patent now for that, into something that actually not only looks like embroidery, then it started to feel like embroidery.
Wow.
And now we're working with actually providing embroidery thread on the hat that we do in real time. It's not embroidered, but it's about as close as you can get.
Okay.
Real embroidery
That's
thread.
cool.
See, that's pretty impressive because, you know, owning a couple businesses myself, I've many times have gone and had items made for my companies. And one of the things that I always found to be super unique is like they'll ask us for like an Illustrator file, and then they take that and run it through their software, and it takes that logo and literally makes a stitched version of that logo digital that I think they then use to actually do the stitching. But it dawned on me that if you guys had access to the digital file of the stitching, it would look damn near the exact same.
Well, even if we don't have the file, I can make it look like that. I can make anything look like stitching.
Interesting.
That takes a little, little artistic integrity, but
Well,
it can be done.
And I think, again, you go back to, you know, Therese mentioned she has an engineering background. You know, it sounds like you guys are both extremely creative people, business-minded. Again, I mentioned Disruptor earlier. So kudos to both of you for kind of taking this, you know, idea and basically bringing it to life. I mean, that's really cool.
And to build on your point of us being partners, we both bring separate things to the table. We're both very creative. I have a creative background, as I've been telling you. And she's the perfect partner for me.
Wow.
She fills
Aw. Cue the aw.
well. She fills in the spaces that I need help filling in,
Yeah.
and vice versa. With regard to the trademark, it's not really that hard of a process. I mean, for an attorney to do that.
Well, and it's funny because I feel like it's probably like, okay, I'm a business owner. I know nothing about that. I would be extremely intimidated, like being like, oh man, I have to trademark something. So the fact that you're saying that actually is music to probably a lot of entrepreneurs' ears.
Listen, it took me less than 5 minutes, I think, to file those trademarks.
Well, there you go.
Really?
And
Wow.
so we just discovered last week we did an episode. So if you want to officiate a wedding, I found out that for 6 minutes and $10 in the state of Ohio, you can legally officiate a
Yeah,
wedding.
when did you find that out? You didn't know that?
No, I did not.
Wow.
There's a lot of officiants in Cleveland that run these things like businesses, and I guess they would lead most people to believe that this is like some sort of process or maybe have some sort of like clergy type background.
It's so common in every state. It's
It-
like
it
for
is-
about $40 anyone could be.
And
Wow.
we learned that, and it really opened our eyes. And the reason we did the episode is we're telling our clients, like, hey, look, if you've got that best friend, if you've got your uncle or someone who's special to you that you think might be able to tell a more personal story than a stranger that you hire for $300, well, here's how you can do it. So,
Yep.
so you said 15 minutes to make a trademark?
Oh yeah. It's honestly 15 minutes. I mean, it's
Good to know.
if you're an attorney registered with the U.S. Trademark Office, you could just go on their site and.
Well, sounds like we got to trademark our It's Just a Wedding.
I mean,
podcast
there's
name.
once they get into the processing of it, there might be some back and forth between you and the trademark office.
Okay.
But the initial filing is relatively inexpensive and relatively very quick, actually.
So I wanted to kind of piggyback a little bit on how I ended the conversation with Therese earlier. So I mentioned that at weddings, you know, it's very important to a client as far as like the aesthetic, the colors, the look, just how the overall day is laid out. And what made me think of this is, you know, you would compliment us off air about, you know, what the set looks
Right.
like and that you do a lot of designing yourself. And now knowing that you would be the person who's doing some of the building and or designing, Therese had mentioned a little bit about how like some of those things can be customizable. So I think to a bride that might be pretty interesting. So why don't you kind of tell us like what the current setup physically looks like in its present day form, and then like some of the ways that you think somebody could potentially do some customization to your store.
So we need a workspace. So it's essentially just a couple of tables, and it could be anything. We're a hat bar, so I did build a set containing a couple of bars. Those bars I made modular and easily changeable as far as aesthetics.
Okay.
So we endeavor to match the wedding set and theme.
That is really cool.
We can do the bar top, we can do the bar sides, everything.
Wow.
And I mentioned in Therese, and it might seem, I know the space really well. That will be a humongous selling point. The fact
yeah.
that you're not just going to have some quote unquote big monstrosity in the background, but something that fits the vibe and the
We
aesthetic.
want to blend in a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah, and a lot
And
of
so we put all our hats on grid walls. The grid walls also have those design elements.
Interesting.
And so those are all interchangeable. Because we're set up to be anywhere on the spot. It's got to be easy. It has to be movable. And in my head, from the beginning of the design process, I wanted it to be interchangeable and modular.
And because, Therese had mentioned that, mobile still being 200-pound machines, et cetera, something that can become quite important, we know as being vendors at weddings, like, what is an average time frame that it takes for you guys to get into a building and set up? And then maybe same thing for tear down on the back end. Like, what does that typically look like?
3 hours.
Wow. Okay.
3 hours back and forward, yeah.
So total or 3 hours on
No,
the in?
3 hours in, 3 hours out.
Wow.
Something like that. We could probably do it. We could do it in 2.
Wow. Okay. So maybe the cap should be like $80 a cap. No, that's a lot of work.
It is. Oh, no, it's a lot of work.
Wow. Okay.
That's impressive about the interchangeable and like changing the setup that you have to match the wedding. 'Cause a lot of places don't do that. Like a lot of like vendors, they just have one setup and it's that.
Well, that's one of the benefits of me being well versed in carpentry, is I can do it.
That's good for you.
And again, from the ground up was designed to be that way.
Yeah.
So most vendors, they buy one set and that's what they have.
Wow. So something that has been on my mind literally since our conversation on the phone. So I'm trying to wrap my mind around this idea that, like, super cool, right? Like, what I love about it is, again, 2 decades in the wedding space, never seen anything like it. Whenever that happens to me, somebody's on to something big. So love it. However, I'm trying to understand this idea of somebody comes to a wedding, so you're going to take a hat home with you. Like, if I'm at somebody's wedding, like, I don't know that I'm going to necessarily care about, like, Tim and Michelle hat or something like that. And the fact that you guys can customize things is super cool, but, like, is there a way that there's, like, some semblance of a theme? Like, I'm just trying to think, like, how you can, like...
In our experience, a lot of brides don't want there to be a lot of customization. They want the options and to give people maybe one of 10 options.
Okay.
A limited number of options. That's
Okay.
part of one of the planning for it. So we can do everything from that to full custom, but not everybody wants that, the full custom.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm like referring to, because it's like I'm trying to decide if it's like, again, a quality hat is really nice, but if it says like, Tim and Michelle's wedding, like, cool,
Also,
but like, what am I going to do with that on the back end? You know what I mean?
We don't just do hats. We have a lot of products that we customize. We customize T-shirts. We are starting to customize socks, as I told you, so custom socks.
Then I think I saw on your website you guys can do like laser mug engraving and stuff.
We do mugs. A lot of people do mugs, not on the spot, but we do that.
I'm glad you said something about that, because the question I have is, what are some of the high-selling items that a bride or groom can use in terms of party favors, in terms of bridesmaid and groomsmen boxes? Because a lot of people will do custom things, like, hey, will you be my bridesmaid? So what are some of those items that you guys see a lot when brides are going through that process?
The hats are big.
Really?
I never would have expected it. I'm not a hat guy myself.
You got that beautiful head of hair, you
I need a haircut. But the hats are huge. We do shot glasses. Those are big.
Oh, those would be cool.
Yeah, that's fun to customize shot
Yeah.
glasses. They're quick too, so inexpensive for people. We do we do custom canvas prints, for instance. We can
that's
do
nice.
big canvas prints on
Oh,
the spot.
wow, that'd be
If you
great.
give us a picture, we can make it look like an oil painting. We can make it look like anime. You could even pick a type of art. Like you can tell me you want it to look like Van Gogh or Monet, and we can make it look like just like it, and have it on the spot and mounted.
Wow.
And that's really cool because, us as a photography company, like we've often talked about like, how cool it'd be to be able to give somebody something physically or tangible. But like, it's not as fun if you deliver it 3 weeks after their wedding. But if at
it's
the
not
end
the
of the
same thing.
evening, you can be like, this is for your mantle.
Not even at the end of the evening. It's if somebody has a funny picture, and things happen at weddings. They always have they used to at least have the disposable cameras.
Yeah.
Before the advent of digital, and you just leave them there, and people take stupid pictures, and some of them are really funny. We're talking about having that on a shot glass on a T-shirt during the wedding. So people walk around with it.
Foresee,
That is crazy.
Like, if the hall allows it, like people getting the shot glass and then using the shot glass,
Yes,
which would
right.
be just, that to me is fun. And that's something where, like, Julia, myself and Julie and Shane went to a conference in Vegas. She wanted to buy shot glass. There are a lot of people that collect shot glass. And
I do.
That's something where, okay, I went to Tim and Michelle's wedding. That's kind of a cool keepsake. And I'm going to use the hell out of a shot glass again in my life. So that's some really cool stuff there.
Do you ever work with like the wedding photographer on the day of to get like some images from like that the bride and groom want and then get
Yes.
it customized?
Yeah, even like right up to the wedding, or usually before, we'll get something specific. There, people have specific requests, of course. It's sort of like, with the bar, when you have an open bar, there's a bride's drink and a groom's drink. That's very popular.
So
Yeah, that
bride's
is
hat.
true.
is there a future where you guys will have maybe an edible ink and you're doing custom M&Ms or custom, I don't know,
Yes, we could laser engrave chocolate.
There you go.
Wow.
See?
That
So
is
get some
cool.
custom Tim and Michelle chocolate bars sent out for the wedding.
I mean, I think the
We
exciting
could put a
part-
picture on chocolate
There you go.
That is
Cakes
at the
too,
wedding if
even,
you
or-
want. If the bride wants everyone to have a candy bar that's engraved, we could do it. We work with like, we can do so many products the way we're set up.
It's like endless.
Once we solved some of the logistic challenges of getting these technologies to an event, they are heavy. It's like 600 pounds even sometimes. But we've solved those logistical challenges, and now that we do that, it's the sky's the limit as far as the product.
And I think the reason why this resonated so much with us and why I think it will resonate with our listeners and potential clients for you guys are right now, if you look into weddings, like what is big in weddings is the buzzword experiential. There's experiential food stations, experiential music stations. And to me, this gives somebody who may not be a big dancer, they may not be a photo booth person, they may not be, whatever the case may be, something where that person can have fun, they can be engaged, they can enjoy themselves at a wedding, and ultimately keep your guest at your wedding for a longer period of
How
time.
often have you gone to a wedding and come back with a trinket that means nothing to you?
Every wedding we
Every
go
wedding.
to.
Yeah.
Every wedding.
Everybody looks for a unique experience for their guests, something they will remember. Everybody remembers this. They get something that they want. It's an engaging process. People really love to shop in our pop-up store.
Sure.
They'll find a hat they like. They'll look for colors. We have patch displays. They go all around. They love the shopping. There's a fun element to it. And we find that at these types of events, you'll get the one guy who comes up and gets something, then he keeps doing it over and over
That's
and
true.
over again.
I can see it being like a photo booth where like the guy's walking out with 13 hats or something.
That's true.
That'd be me.
I think the other thing
I'm going to
that-
apologize to your listeners, but I have the same cold as she has.
Yes,
I didn't get it from her.
and
Not
next
this quick.
week, Nick and I are going to be coughing probably. I will say that I think that what is exciting and fun is just like, again, the unique experience of it all. And I will say that, we're fortunate enough that, I think SPE and Cufflink Media, we probably generally cater to the top probably 10 to 7% of the wedding market. And I mean, just based on, Therese threw out a couple of numbers at us. And, I would imagine to an extent this is probably a bit more of like a premium option.
That is, well, this particular one is a premium option, yeah.
So, it's one of those things where if you are a person who is having all your family and friends, if you're a business person and you're having clients at your wedding, if you are someone who is just, needs to impress people, this is a way to where you can really do something that's unique and high end, which will be different than what most people have seen.
And let me add that not everybody has huge weddings. Not every wedding has 200 people.
That's true.
If you have a wedding with 50 people, this is not that expensive of an option anymore. I mean, we're talking about a 20. I know she mentioned somewhere in the low 20s for a lot of these hats, and that's completely doable. But for 50 people, a $40 price point for these isn't that bad.
It really isn't in terms of something that at least
If you're a high-end wedding and you're looking for an experience, this is not that expensive.
It really isn't compared to some of the things that people
Right.
are doing at weddings. Well, before we wrap up the cast for today, Freddie, I just want to make sure that is there anything that we didn't ask you that you think is important that you want to make sure that you say that get a message out to the people, or did we do a
No, I think we
reasonably
basically
thorough
covered.
job?
You did a
Go
great
ahead
job.
and shout your guys out.
I do want to say that hat in particular was a guy who came up to us at an event, and he didn't realize that it could be a picture or any. We've had that problem a lot. Most people don't realize the extent of our services. As soon as he realized, he showed me a picture of his mandolin. Said, "What can you do with this?" Oh, I can show you what I could do with this.
Wow.
We cut it out of the picture. We made a custom patch for him, cut it, and that's a photo quality. That's his particular mandolin.
And that's the unique part. This isn't just a stock photo of
No,
a mandolin.
no.
This is this gentleman's
Yes.
mandolin. And that's the differentiator. I mean, you know, this is your child or your pet or your friend, you know.
And this
actually in the moment.
particular hat was somebody's name. The reason we still have it is because we misspelled it the first time. It was 2 A's instead of 2 S's. So
When we
we,
first started Sound Precision Entertainment, I ordered 1,000 cards with the word
no.
precision spelled incorrect. So I've been there and done
Typical
that.
Scott fashion.
Typical Scott, yeah. Look or leap before I look kind of thing.
Well, before we were going to wrap up, were we going to do another horror story or?
Oh yeah, Therese promised that you had one that was we can't let you get off the set without.
no.
You're not off the hook, sir.
A horror story, it was,
Yes.
Good catch, Nikki.
I want to say it was embarrassing. It's sort of embarrassing. Someone approached me at a recent event and said, "Hey, yo, boss, can you put a penis on a hat?"
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
And so,
What kind of penis?
well, so I said, that's what I said. I said, well,
You
first of
asked
all,
him what kind?
no, first asked him.
White guy.
White one, black one.
I first asked him. I said, "You realize that goes on your head? Do you want a penis on your head by any? Like, why do you want that?" He was with his girlfriend, and he's like, "I just think it'll be funny." I'm like, "Okay, well, if you get me a picture of the penis," he goes, "You want a picture of a penis?" I'm like, well, "What are you?
Well, was it
am I
a-
going to put mine on?"
Was it his penis or was it somebody else's penis? I mean, that's a great question.
I don't know.
Oh man.
I mean, he was white and it was a black penis, so I don't know if that's
Wow.
his.
Going
Oh
the
my
bingo
God.
on there.
I feel like
Oh.
I wouldn't be proud enough to sport my penis on my own hat.
No, I don't think that's the hat for me.
I mean, if I
To
was,
each his own.
maybe for some guys, but
That's
for me,
just so weird. You're gonna throw another
That
man's
is
black dingo on
crazy.
there, dude.
He was
man.
very happy with
look
it.
at Julia.
Well, have you heard of like the butthole T-shirts where they have like T-shirts of like people's buttholes? So that's what kind of gives me that same.
Wow, you just gave me a patch idea.
I can't wait for the YouTube chapter.
I'm
Penis
putting that on a hat.
Yeah, wait till the chapter. Yeah, penis and buttholes. Well, I can't think of a better way to end this podcast than on that. Listen,
Shout yourself out. Where can they find you guys? What are your social media handles? What's your website?
What is our website? Laser Focused Xpressions with just an X, expressions.com.
And then, is there any upcoming events that you're going out that you?
We will be at Oktoberfest at the Cuyahoga.
we will be
there.
at
We'll be there.
Oktoberfest hanging out. So we're coming over, and I'm getting a dick hat for sure.
Be sure to get me the picture first.
Yeah.
We could resize it for you, too.
Scott's like,
Enlarge it, please.
No, I meant we have to fit it on the hat, so we're going to have to make it small.
It'll fit. So listen,
Brutal.
we're excited. So guys, if you need to get a hold of these guys, again, I Googled them. You can find it online. They've got a cool website where you can see a lot of their products and services. You want to come talk to these guys and see them live in a couple of weeks, come hang out with us. Come see these guys over at the what's it called again?
Oktoberfest.
I'm Italian, all right?
I'm German.
We're going out for the Oktoberfest. So come out and see us and come hang out. Also coming soon, I can't say too much right now. We talked to Trez earlier. Some of this merch that you're seeing here, specifically the It's Just a Wedding podcast, I think there's going to be a partnership where we are going to be selling T-shirts and hats and all other kinds of stuff. So for Julia's dad, who has constantly requested merch,
We need
and
no
for some of the
Tuxkevans.
other people, some of that stuff will be coming to you guys sooner and later. Again, thank you to both of you guys. It was fantastic to have you.
Thank you
Super
for letting us be here.
super innovative, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys in the field. That being said, Nick, It's Just a Wedding.
out.
It's Just a Wedding podcast.